Nothing particular catches my attention today, and I don't have any topic. Sometimes things need to happen to know what are the things that I can talk about that feels like need to be said, but nope, not feeling any. And I hope you can't hear the background music that is happening currently because it's like 3:40 p.m. and there is a religious song played out in the background. So hopefully that's not catching up in the audio. But I got nothing that I want to say particularly for today. Though there are topics that come into my mind is that is because I'm in the making of my story, which not the making. I'm in the time to of writing my story, so I'm like, what is your dream life? What is your like? This is the kind of life that I have always been. I have always. I have. I always have in my mind because I have mine. I've been falling out with my drink intake, so I'm like drinking while streaming. It's water. It's nothing special. The thing about dream life is that I'm not like I want to have this kind of life. I my dream life is like I always know my abundant state of mind to be the dream life because I don't know many people who has the same mindset as I am. Maybe because I never talk about it. Like part of the reason why I never know if anyone out there have the same kind of thing as me is because I never talk about my shit. And I never get to find out who else have the same perception as I do. So dream life is for me is like I just don't live in this rules abiding world, meaning like it gets us somewhere, but at times it just we hear more bad things rather than good things about it. And it's like we feel restricted in some way. And it's like that's not the kind of dream life I have in mind. I'm just picturing it much a simpler version than we need to tell the government and like still abiding the rules and that stuff. But so there is a contrast to it. But if you have been living a life that is rule abiding moment, then you don't need to follow the rules. You just always been in this kind of paradigm where it is within the rules itself. So you never feel the need to like break the rules or whatsoever. But there are also rules that is unwritten. It's not written on paper. Right? You don't need someone to force it upon you. You just like, I actually believe it differently, like that kind of rule. So this world built upon construct that was so limiting that I'm just like, that's not what I believe currently. So I don't know why you have it in your assumption because there was like the assumption of people have in mind like this is what is accepted and this is not what accepted. I actually applaud people who is in LGBTQ community for taking their stand, but I'm not up for the kind of life where you need to protest every so often and have a parade. And I'm like, if you believe what you believe, then that's okay. You just don't need to make it so out there. It was like, we understand. But I feel like because they are in the beginning of acceptance, they need to show themselves more often than we thought, just like what they are doing. Currently, there's someone cooking in the kitchen, and I don't like the smell because they use too much onion, garlic, whatsoever. It just bothered. Yep. And sometimes, like, those people get what they need, but sometimes they are breaking the laws and they are expanding our awareness upon their existence. But at the same time, their the forcefulness of their agenda taking us back, like maybe like we don't need to accept this type of people, but then they are needed. They are here to expand the things that we are restrict on. Is that the word? I don't know. But yeah, that's one of the case of what is your dream life. And if you are not in the kind of life that you feel I want to be in this type of reality, then you will need to go out there and present what that reality is. I have been living the last 20 years, which is like the story of my mission, because of that reality too. Though I'm not in LGBTQ community, I also have a reality where it's much more about the perception of someone out there. And they are trying to forcing their limiting belief. They're when they are not having like they don't have the ability to accept differentness, which is like really bugs me off. And they try to force their own belief to others, which is that kind of reality I never participate, and I was break upon people from people who try to force me to it, which is from my parents, which is from my teacher, from my professor, my friends, just like people in general. And I think like we are getting into the authenticity of this world, meaning that people don't need to protest anymore to be accepted. We just like know, oh, you're different. We accept that no matter what. And I'm all in for that idea. But I feel like that reality will take us a while. And I don't think it will happen in my lifetime, to be honest. Even though like I can go into a certain community and be accepted in that way. And I can go to people who believe in this new earth system and I be accepted. But if I go into some other community, they will not understand or accept whatever I'm bring to the table. And they will be looking at me weird. And I'm like, I don't like this kind of reality, to be honest. I can sense the like you are being expelled from the community, from the togetherness of with other people, and I don't like that. And it's not like they cannot think us weird, but also like the idea that they cannot receive what we are having, like we are having a partition upon belief that just like I don't think what you believe is true, which is what my parents usually told in front of my face. I was like, I don't think like you that is the truth of your reality. I'm like, what do you mean? I believe it right now. Like I know it right now. What do you mean I don't believe it? It's like, I don't know. I just don't think that's the truth. And I'm like, I have it right now. And I have a really hard time because of that. For example, like my mom really love spicy food, and I'm like, I can't take spicy food. So for numerous of years, I have to eat the level of spiciness that I can't handle, and then that's why like I fucked up my system because I need to accommodate to my parents, and I never get to say like I can't eat this. They just like always torment me with the idea that you need to eat it. You what do you mean you can't eat it? And I don't have the audacity to say like I can't eat it. And it's because I was triggered by the idea that I was not accepted, and I'm trying to belong to the community, to the circle, and then I'm just like, let's take it. And I'm like, I felt sick, which is what I'm currently having right now. I eat the level of spiciness that I can't handle, and I need to drink a lot of water because I need to get it out from my system. Hmm. How about that? Now, I know that at some point we can deal with the contrast, we can deal with duality, which is with the solution that I'm currently doing right now, higher water intake. But then to understand that you need a solution is also you need to exert some effort to eventually notice, oh, actually this is not the thing that I need to be doing. I actually don't need to participate in this, and then I need to know how to deal with it, which is like my water intake right now. It takes so much effort, and I'm just like, and I'm also like not buying into the idea that we need to eat food, but we need it because that is the limitation that we currently have. So the idea of my world is much about the foundational level, because I don't believe in such a thing. Like I don't really want to participate in this, but I can't help it because I'm in this reality. But to break upon this idea that we don't need to eat is also really like you can't do that thing, you know? Like that there is that rule. But I don't know. Maybe it's because of how I perceive my soul and all that stuff. But yeah, I'm trying not to breathe, which is hard. And then when I breathe, it just like the smell from the kitchen caught my system. I was like, I don't like this. Oh, we can do this. Buzzing up the van so that it doesn't catch. But yeah, what is the idea of a dream life for you? Because this idea actually has been circulating in my mind since I was before I was 8. I was just like, no, this is not the reality. This is not the world that I know of. This is not the world that I need to be participating in. But I can't help it because I'm here, and then I see it and I was like, oh, I feel bad. But then like I can't really do anything about it because this is just the reality. But then I work my way to eventually have the dream life that I originally thought, to eventually create it in my own bubble, and then find my own people and people were alike, and then eventually letting people know who don't believe the same type of world that I do. How do you actually do that? So the way you receive your own thought, participate, the way you receive your own, the way you receive is actually really important because you are trying to receive yourself, other people, and people who don't believe your world. And how do you actually contain all of that? So this is the container that I used to talk about, because you are here. Some people have it small, they can't make it bigger. I wanted to touch on that the first time I talk about it in my past live stream, but I never get into it because I stray away so far. So the container is something that is built from the beginning. You cannot expand it. You cannot uh the um decrease the size itself. expand, and what would you call the synonym, the antonym for it? That word. Because what happened is that it is just the way your soul, your essence build upon. It built with the idea of your soul. I'm trying so hard not to push. It built upon from your original essence, and when you perceive it as like, I have such a small container upon this idea, so I can't receive it, I can't let it in. There are also compartmentalized container upon different ideas. Maybe just like I do, I love cooking, and then I can like have the container itself, but when someone else is cooking and I'm like, I can't help it, I can't be near what they are cooking, because I just can't, because the smell itself doesn't is not nice, and then they don't even like trying to go with the fan itself, so I'm like, I can't help it. But then you can expand that idea of this small container, meaning that even if you cannot increase the size itself from the beginning, you can zoom in and then have a different perception about the container itself. And this is the work that actually need to be done, to be doing, before you let other people who don't actually know about your type of your kind of the reality that you are believing, because then you can expect that they don't understand. The expectation that they don't understand is valid, because they just never get to know the kind of world that you believe. But you are the core, the anchor for that frequency of the world that you believe in, that you dream of. So you let those people be where they are. You don't necessarily force them to believe what you believe, but you just let them know that I exist. And I hope like that's what the LGBTQ community do. They just let people know that there are more and more people who believe such a thing, and they are being included in the system. But then there are people who believe that you cannot have this kind of reality, which is also valid, because it can also create another karmic experience. But then there are different agenda, different akashic records, different destiny that people are here for, and those people are exist for a reason. I also understand that part. So I never like have any problem to begin with LGBTQ community, but I'm just like ashamed that the way they do it is such a really destructive way, because they are forcing to other people, especially if you're in America. I understand that you guys have it worse than other people, because you are the first community to get as huge as that. But there are some false beliefs. So there are not call it a false belief wrong. It's just that because it was so huge that so many people know it, at some point they are falling into the trap. So there are people who actually like, oh my god, I did the surgery, but then I realized I don't really need it, and then I'm going back. Like there's those type, and those type of people who eventually, who if it's already like done deal, you can't really get it back, because it's like a permanent state of your body. And when you have it worse like that, and you realize it, if you can't break upon the understanding, oh, actually I don't need it, and you're still like in the vagueness of your reality, you usually, most of the case, people took their life. And that's also true in my reality, in my community, which is the community of really sensitive people. So in this indigo people, there are so many cases where they can't contain the sensitivity itself and they eventually exit. There are so many of those cases, and I had one of those moments back when I was like 2015, 2014. I was just like so tired of being so sensitive and also like getting the downloads and just having the insight whenever I meet people, because it gets me into a point where I can't connect with the common human, general humans. We just don't have that interaction between other people. And I'm like, why am I having this kind of sensitivity? It's not nice. Like I don't need to know. Like I'm become so intuitive, just like really, what do you call it? Like when you have, I don't know the name, that name. Really not intuitive. What do you call it? Uh, actually, my lines here are actually getting a lot thinner because I did the exercise of that. Not psychopath. Psychopath is a disease. Is a anomaly that people usually have. It started with psychic. No, it's not psychic. Oh, what is the word? That word. So some of the people can have that kind of thing going on between interaction, that you just know what the other person is thinking, what the other person is about to do, and you're become so attuned to the frequency, and it just bugs me out because I always been that person. Like I know what this person is thinking, and I'm just like, can I just shut it off? I just want to be in my own system, and I can let people in without me knowing every single thing about this person. I don't want to know, but I can't help it. So that happened, and I have the intention to actually exit this life at some point. But then I asked the universe to like, if I really am an indigo children, or maybe an intuitive, or maybe what some kind, let someone else out there who has the ability to tell, okay, you are that person, you are that. Just like let me meet this type of people and just like show me what I am. And then I meet them. And then they told me like you are one of us, and I'm like, oh, okay. And then I get back into being to own um everything that is. It's raining. Okay, let me pause because I just washed some clothes and I need to pick it up. Wait a minute. So, what kind of life is your dream life? And yeah, I met someone who can tell like you are this type of person, you are this type of people. So just accept it and just own your, stop running away, just do whatever it is that you are here for. And then I get back into owning my everything. That's also a journey. It's not fun, to be honest. Like you need to be you need to like fight for your belief and all that stuff. And I'm like, why do you need to fight? Why didn't you need to just live the idea of it? Just live it. It's like live the life that you have been envision yourself and meet other people who has the same mindset, who has the same dream as you. I feel like now we are touching the LGBTQ community. I feel like there will be a time when you don't really need those protests anymore, those parade, those special date in the calendar. Because I also think like when you already embrace all of the ideas, you already like mix the the new idea with the old one, you don't necessarily need to have those special dates anymore. Personal thought. I also don't think like Black History Month, which is the American thing, to be like so on the date because I'm like, you don't necessarily need this. So many people don't need this. Like if you're just American, you're just American. I once was amused by someone who appeared on Oprah, and I was like, that's interesting. I also believe it that way. So there's a child, there is a younger um, person who is being interviewed by Oprah, and she said, I'm just American. I'm not a African American. It was like, exactly. That's it. And then there is a higher degree of this. It's like you don't necessarily need to pronounce what is your race. You're just like, I am human, because now we are going to get into a world where it's not just human. And then you need to embrace, I'm just human. How about that? And I want to participate in that area instead of being like, I'm Indonesian, you are American, you are Filipinos, you whatever it is, you're Brazilian. I'm like, you're just human. And I always have this thought. And that's why I don't believe in idolizing someone when they are still human. I'm just like, you are a human and I'm a human. Why do I need to idolize you? The same with Jesus. I think like I touched on a very sensitive part yesterday, and I understand that this idea of Jesus is such a holy experience for some people. So, but the thing is that I break so many rules about religion itself. Even though like Jesus is also in Islamic history, there are parts of the story that is just the same. Like I understand at some point in Islam, the list of the prophet is like so many that I understand at some point Moses is in that area of people, and then Jesus is actually in this area of people, and then Muhammad was actually in this area of people, and then what they, I don't know the name, Abraham is actually for this area of people. So there are so many prophets in Islam that like understand that at some point these people exist because they need to influence this region to be like, hey, here it is. That's why like I get to think I don't necessarily need to believe in religion itself. I just believe in what I want in myself because I am part of the Holy Trinity. I am the Holy Trinity and all that stuff. But this is really like breaking the rules. So, and I understand that not many people believe it the way I believe. Now, I already have the container that can fit all of those who believe like I do, who may be interested to listen what I believe, and also like people who would never believe what I believe, and people who would reject what I believe. Like I have a container so zoomed in that every single part of those people can fit in. And that's why like I feel when in the future we have this type of container exists in every single of us, we don't need rules. We don't need those written rules that people, okay, you cannot kill people, you just never thought about it because that was never been the trap anymore. And I'm participating in that reality. Like I'm waiting for you guys to have the container so zoomed in that eventually you can see that the container itself is huge for every single of us because some people have it so small and they never break free from it. And then eventually, because of pressure and all that stuff, the container broken to pieces is broken to pieces, and eventually you are exiting the world. And I'm trying to help you. I'm doing my best in helping you to create a bigger container. In essence, where your belief, those people who believe like you, who is interested to know what you believe, who is rejecting what you believe, can exist in the same reality as you. And that is the harmony of this world, is that you don't need to be in the same category as anyone else. You just need to stay where you are and be proud, be prideful about what you believe, be okay with not everyone will believe what you believe. And also like there are people who is rejecting what you believe, and then you trying to play in this person's bubble of rejection, and then you get angry and all that stuff. And I'm like, why did you play in that category? Why did you play in their bubble? So you don't need to play with that bubble. You just understand, okay, this person will never get it, and don't need to make them understand what I believe, because they just never will. They will never participate, they will never enter, they will never realize. And what the LGBTQ trying to do is actually forcing other people to believe what they believe, even though they reject it, even though like they don't never understand it. And when they never get to play in the reality of this LGBTQ community, they get punishment. And I'm like, why do you punish people who will never participate in the reality you are believing, which is stupid. And I feel like the people in the LGBTQ has a really limited container. I understand they are in the beginning stage of making this belief, the philosophy, blend in to the bigger consciousness. But please, please. I feel like respect is really a big part of my world, because the kind of respect where you don't really need permission to do what you want is also like part of the respect that I believe. That's interesting. I thought I don't have any topic, but it's actually really, really profound one coming out. And this is also a really sensitive topic because I cannot say what I feel like I can't have anything to say within this region because I am not part of the LGBTQ community. But I also have a moment, an experience where I have something that I need to fight for. But it's not the kind of fight that is philosophical like them. But I do believe in the bigger role, in the bigger existence of this world, and that was the world that I'm participating in. And I need to fight for that because I'm here believing what that world is going to be, what this world is going to be eventually. But it will happen in the coming years because the integration, the adaptation period is like until 2050, and after that, I hope we have it solid. Like the harmony is already solid that we don't need to work on it. But if we still need more harmonic work, I probably get another mission, like show it in front of me, do more time, do more of this, because I have set myself to work on my dream life for the next 20 years. And I'm like, I thought I just need to go until 2040, 20 under 2050, but actually 2050, even if by 2050 we are not in the harmonic resonance of what this world is supposed to be, I need to extend my time to eventually another 20 years. So I don't know. It's just the time. So what is your dream life? How are you participating in that, in making that dream life coming true? Because that's really important. Because if you believe that you're still alone in the kind of life that you want to live, I can guarantee you, you are not. Given a year, given like more years to come, there are many more souls that coming into this reality. What is this 20-year contract? So because I have began my mission when I was 8, and I have served the 20 years of that, which is like this year I'm 30. So I started when I was 8, and then like 2 years before, yeah, actually 2 years before, which is 2024, when I set the creation of my business, which is like February 25th, 2024, was when I started my business. And from that date until 20 years from then, 2044. So I have set myself for the next 20 years to do this work. So if you see me missing, just know that I will keep showing up, trying my best to like make my life, my dream life coming true. That's it. That is what the 20 years contract about. But I have heard from Bashar, which is a channeling frequency by Daryl Anka. I don't know if you know about this in the spiritual community. He is really big, and he have channeled uh, the more expanded, the master, the alien, whatever they are. They have shared that since 2020 until 2050, so the 30-year period will be like the adaptation of knowing that there are a different race exists in our reality. As you know, the Pentagon has released some files, the alien, and just know that this is the phase where we will know that we are not alone, and I'm participating in that idea. So I am helping the idea of the harmonic resonance, because human need to be so coherent, so harmonic in themselves, in their inner world, that they cannot have war between their difference within their own mind, within their own reality. And that's what I'm participating, helping the kind of adaptation to the next experience between races. That's what this is about. So it's huge. I understand that part. I don't know any of this. Yeah, look it up. Bashar, Bashar. So he is the channeler for Daryl Anka is channeling Bashar, which is the entity that is a lot more advanced than human. And they have been sharing some ideas, some speeding up the momentum of knowing that there are different races in this world. And yeah, it's coming. So that's why like my dream life, it's more about the coherence, about the harmonic itself, rather than the existence of alien. And other people out there might be more connected with the idea there is another race and we are participating in that, and they are the scientists and they are the people who is more close to that world. So yeah, and I didn't know that I have set the 20 years and then I need to expand it because I just started in 2024. So by 2044, if it's like still needs some work, I need to expand the contract again for another 20 years just to make sure that everything is good and they don't need me to participate, to help them, to help humanity connect with themselves in such a coherent way. I don't know. Let's see if after 20 years, I still need to work on this. I literally, I always said to my people, like, I know that you don't need me to do this, but I feel the need to show myself that whatever you are doing, whatever problem, yeah, that is also true. So that part, the CERN is actually creating the portal, right? They are um, making problems, not making problems. They just like tweaking the portal between worlds. Now, there is another world out there in animation. So, animation in Korea, in Japan, in China, they have been huge in this idea of portal that there might be monster coming over and all that stuff. They're just fear based, and I'm like, and they need to fight for the earth so it's not colonized by these monsters. And there are so many manhwa about that, manga, and it's really interesting because I have read so many versions of it. And I'm like, oh, it is exist. Those type of world where you need to fight for your planet exist, but it exists in such a small portion that we don't need to be worried about it. 그렇죠? Yes, that's true. But what CERN do is it's not that detrimental. The detriment point is more about the nuclear, because the nuclear war has this frequency that is beyond this world. That's why like the only thing that the alien, the higher being, that the more advanced race is playing, like taking their part on making the responsibility not getting bigger than not getting any bigger than to happen in just in this world, is the nuclear. I heard it so many times, and then there are so many people that afraid that there will be another nuclear war. But I myself never have the instinct. So sometimes I get the hit, the intuition that something really bad is going to happen. And whenever I see the future, whenever I tap into like, okay, like get me into the future timeline and let me see the probability, whatever it is that is close to my own frequency. And I never see those bloom, those nuclear bloom. You know, I just never see that. I just see that the earth going to crack, and then we going to have so many natural disaster going on around the earth, and it's already happening. I mean, like earthquake everywhere, and then we are having a volcanic activity more often. It's already happening. So that's the only thing that I see. I don't see the nuclear one. But it just it is such a time where everything is in the ramble. Like everything is mushed together, and then we need to know where we want this to go. And the coherence, the harmonic, the resonance itself is playing a big part on where are we taking this. So that's why, like in the spiritual community, nobody dare to say like this is the only probability that this world is going to be. No. Can you hear the rain? Because the rain is really, really heavy right now. So the idea that there will be maybe a different kind of reality will happen in the future, and maybe I'm one of the people who is wrong. I don't know. We will know it when it happens. And that's why like having an open mind is such a important here, because we never know what we need to know until it truly happens. But you need to know what you are participating in. So then I think it'll depend if you shift to a new nucleus or stay here. You know how to shift. Exactly. That is also true. That's why like you need to understand what is your dream reality, because that has always been the anchor of your next shift. You can like literally shift right now, but if you are still connected to this reality, you will be playing in this reality only. Is the rain okay? Can you hear the rain, or can you hear my voice okay? I'm actually getting used to this interaction. The first time, I think like the third time, I was like swaying because I'm like okay, you need to focus. You don't lose your focus. Just like stay in here. And I was like in my inner mind was like, okay, where do I go? Where do I go? I was like really wobbly. Another thing that I want to share about what okay about other probability is that there are people who believe that we will disappear at some point. And I mean like you can't do that. You will still here, maybe in a different one, in a different feeling, in a different perspective, but you will still be here because everything is like coming together. So there is a theory around mm, that the timeline has expanded so much, so wide, that everything just collapsed in current time. So we cannot expand the time anymore. That's why, like, I personally think that if someone out there still think like you can shift or disappear from this reality, you can't anymore, because everything just going into one singular timeline. That's also a problem. But you can create things from your own mind. So I don't know if you know Elizabeth April. So she has a niece, and then she is really psychic, really connected to the spiritual world. And her niece or nephew, I don't know, but in that category, like The child was saying like there is this color, a toy, and then Elizabeth April was like there is no of that color. There is no red here, but the kid said there is red, and then by the time Elizabeth April like look away and then look back into the toys, like there is a red one. So you can create, but you cannot like disappear from this reality. That is also one of the things that I believe like more and more things will happen. But yeah, what I know is that there is no destruction moving forward besides the I don't know coherence about this world, but just like the similar momentum between human race and also like the earth itself, because earth is a being. I don't know if you notice, earth is alive, and earth is following, making the evolution of human race to be part of what is happening on earth itself. So I don't know what to say about this. It's like mirroring energy. If the human race change, the earth change. So if you see more disaster coming forward, the human race is also changing for the better. Hopefully, I don't know either. How do you feel about yourself? That's the question. Do you feel better? Do you feel worse? Do you feel agitated? Because that is the way to turn the bad stuff down. To know that the future will be okay. To know that the future will be better than now. Because I feel great actually. I don't have much about the shadow, the duality in myself. Like this one is actually having a war with this one. I already like do the work essentially to never has those moments ever again. And that work is really deep. And if you can contain everything that is not you, meaning that if someone out there has a different opinion, if someone out there have a different idea of the world than you're good. I feel like that's the key. Never heard of her. I suggest if you can add description on this video if you got it. Got it. I will show you. I will show you the link. I will share the link later. Yep. The weird thing is that whenever someone in the spiritual community share their meetups with the alien, I never been invited. Weird thing is I never been invited, but I think like I'm playing with a different being because I do have spiritual counsel, but it was not the counsel that they are telling me. Okay. So if you look for this name, if you search that name in the YouTube search, you will find dozens of recommendation. They are like the trusted. I trust those people because it's like aligned with my personal belief, and that's why like I share more about Bashar or from Elizabeth April. Their work is so different than mine because I have my own 20 years of serving my time, but then like I work in it differently. You're welcome. So yeah, what did I talk about? Hmm. There is a single bird in front of me, just sitting on the rooftop. Why? This is interesting. I never get into an hour timeline, but here we are. Ta-da! I always like want to be like having a live stream for 1 hour, but as always, I lost my voice right now because I speak too loud because of the rain. And now it's not raining, just like a little bit trinkle, sprinkle. I don't know why. Whenever the rain is not so heavy, I say trinkle rather than sprinkle. Mm. Oh, it's gone. The bird. Yep. Bashar has channeled for quite a while, and Elizabeth April just like show up. She is really good at her thing, but she show up like 2020, like become so public about her work. The whole speaking to council thing is unimaginable to me. Was it a crow? I never see a crow here. It's just a small bird. It's sometimes like have a really interesting feather, but it's not a crow. I would love actually seeing a crow because they are really intelligent. Oh yeah, the council. So my council, it's always like I'm in the middle, and then every single other being was like around me, and then I would be like this the only human in the room, and there would be like so many others. I don't know how many are there, but if I can tap into the number itself, probably like thousands of them, and I'm in the middle of it. Just like if you see a room with a chair in the middle and then just like circling around, it will be like unimaginable people, beings in the room. That's my counsel. And I never seen anyone else. It was just always me. And I'm like, and that's why like I don't like to tap into my own spirituality because I always been alone in this world, in this work particularly. I never heard anyone speak about their journey as I am. Meaning like I served 20 years and I never heard anyone else do that. And then I need to serve another 20 years. I don't know why I said it 20 years. At the beginning, when I first triggered my mission, I also didn't know that I would go for 20 years long period of the first initiation to my mission. And then and now I'm here, I'm just like setting it out 20 years because I've done 20 years. It sounds like so easy. And not another 20 years is like nothing. So but to expand the time, to extend the time more than 20 years, I don't know. I need to like review the contract again. But it's already embedded in my heart that I need to do this for the next 20 years. So yeah, just let's see how it goes. But I'm actually pretty excited to share the work. Yeah. Elizabeth is actually like she has a really visceral, like she can see like alien, a plasma being in front of her, like face to face, and then another being here, and then she was once date a reptile, a reptile people, lizard people, and then she talked about it in the pot that I used to share. That one time I shared a link in the pod about pod that she talked about. It was crazy. It was crazy story. I never get to like call to date anyone. because I just know like you're a human. I'm also human, but I know that you are less of a human than me, so I would not date you. There are so many instances like that. Yeah, it's interesting. Elizabeth April. She's really good. I I have seen like I have recommended her video by YouTube so many times. I don't know, like until lately, I'm just like I want something new, and then I just click her video, and it's like, oh, actually we are in the same wavelength, we are in the same frequency. If I can find it again, I'll put it in the comment on it later. Okay, you don't need to, like you can just watch it and just like have it to your own contemplation. But if you want to, it's okay. I'll see it. I'll see the comment. Oh yeah, it's already been an hour since I started the live, and I already said what I want to say, and I feel like I extend what I'm saying. And thank you for being here, and I'll see you tomorrow.